Oh yeah, you want to live in China where they can't criticize their own government, protest, or have freedom of speech? Hey, is it cool if I peacefully protest on my college campus critiquing Israel for the ongoing genocide for the past 7 months? How's about you spend the night in jail?
Trans people will literally say, hormones have made me feel happy and at home in my own body for the first time ever. And the conservatives will say, but aren't you worried that that's irreversible? You gotta be fucking kidding me.
The U.S. House of Representatives just voted in favor of making it illegal to criticize the state of Israel, saying that any criticism of the state of Israel is anti-Semitism and therefore hate speech. I don't think you realize how big of a deal this is. They're trying to make it illegal to be a hater. Do you understand? This is America, a country founded by haters. If we can't criticize Israel, then who are we not going to be allowed to criticize next? Punk-ass bitches? That's how the punk-ass bitches win. Do you want a country that's ran by punk-ass bitches? Okay, we do have that right now, but do you want a country that's ran by punk-ass bitches that we can't talk shit about? Oh, and by the way, this is this book. We are witnessing the world become this book. Do you remember that book from middle school? The one where you read about how life was ass under fascism? Yeah, that's what we're going to. If you make critique illegal, that means you're trying to make critical thinking illegal. And if you make critical thinking illegal, then you're basically gonna make thinking illegal as a whole. And if you make thinking illegal, then you're not a fucking human being anymore. I'm terrified and I hate it here. I'm going to go to a place where speech is free. It's a fort that I made out of pillows and blankets in my living room. You are welcome to come, but only if you're a true hater who wants to talk shit.
All right, I got it.
Got what?
This is it. This is the thing that proves that the left is actually way worse and way more insane than the right.
Okay.
You ready?
Fucking rock my world.
You support the bodily mutilation of children.
No.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think so, but you
Kind of do, actually.
What are you talking about?
Well, there are lots of legal firearms in America that have the capacity to mutilate bodies, and many of them have been used several times over to mutilate the bodies of children, and you seem kind of upsettingly okay with that.
I'm talking about trans kids.
I'm aware of that.
You support mutilating their bodies.
Yeah, so what you're actually talking about is cosmetic surgery, and surgery and mutilation are two different things. They're like two entirely different words with completely different definitions. You only use the word mutilation because if you use the correct language, your argument becomes a lot weaker.
Okay, so you're cool with cosmetic surgery happening to kids?
Well, you know, kids do get surgery sometimes for lots of different reasons. Sometimes that's just a thing that has to happen, and you're actually okay with kids getting surgery too, if we're being honest.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're saying you don't think kids should ever get any kind of surgery?
Yeah, I don't think we should be cutting up little kids, you weirdo. In fact, I think doctors who mutilate little kids should be put in jail.
So, tonsillectomies, appendectomies, wisdom teeth removal, you think doctors should be prosecuted for doing that to kids?
You know what I'm talking about. Those are normal, routine procedures.
Right, but they still involve using sharp instruments to cut into little children and take out parts of their bodies. I can make those procedures sound more violent and graphic if I just change the language I use to talk about them.
I'm talking about surgeries on kids, you know, on the genitals.
Oh, sorry, I was confused because just like 4 seconds ago you said you were against surgery of any kind, but that's alright, we'll go ahead and scoop that goalpost up and just move it on over.
Yeah, move it on over there.
Okay, so you're definitely against circumcision then, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just said I was, so, you know, I kind of have to,
need some time to think about it?
Nope, I'm good. Final answer.
Are you circumcised?
Yes, and I wish I could catch the criminals who did that.
Alright, how do you feel about doctors doing surgery on babies that are born intersex to make their genitals look more clearly identifiable as either male or female?
Is that like some new
woke thing, or? No, it's been happening for a very long time, and it's definitely not woke. It's the product of heteronormative society not wanting to deal with the existence of people who are born biologically outside of the male-female sex binary. Okay, well, I wasn't aware of that, and I don't believe in the existence of things that I'm not aware of, just kind of as a rule. Look, the fact is, most gender-affirming care for minors doesn't involve surgery at all. It's just stuff like using proper pronouns, maybe a new name, wearing clothes that align with and validate the child's identity, just helping them feel good about themselves and supported generally. But sometimes, in rare instances, cosmetic surgery might be done with gender non-conforming minors if the doctors and family decide that it can help improve quality of life. Often, it's a literal life-saving intervention where the intent is to prevent the child from dying by suicide. So you admit it then? That I don't want kids to die by suicide? Yeah, I admit that. So, okay, I think we understand each other. If I had to bet on it, I'd say we still most likely don't.
This has been We're Not the Same.
And another thing, I hate when people are like, well, everyone you don't like is a fascist, huh? Like, you just call anyone you don't like a fascist. Like, no, it just so happens that I don't like any fascists.
Can I be really transparent with you guys and say that while I am super excited to see all of these encampments, while I am super excited to see university and college students voicing their beliefs and backing it up with action, while I am excited about all of that, I'm frustrated and I'm angry because we're not being fair to them. I'm frustrated because it feels like a form of adultification. I'm watching folks who should be planning their graduations and their parties, people who should be talking about their summer breaks, folks who should be finishing up those last papers, getting ready for those last tests, be rightfully praised, rightfully held up, rightfully supported. But it frustrates me because so many people kicked back their feet and said, yes, we'll let the youth fight. And that is a form of adultification. Sugar, if you don't get up off your butt and start fighting too, it's not okay to say that the kids are all right if the grown-ups who are around them are not all right. They're putting a lot on the line. Some of us won't even risk a nasty comment on our social media pages. Folks are risking their entire collegiate careers to do the right thing. And some of y'all won't even risk an uncomfortable conversation. So while we are cheering on the folks at the universities, the people at the colleges, the folks who are saying loudly enough with the violence, as we cheer them on, if we ourselves have not stepped out and risked a little something for our fellow human beings, we may as well be quiet.
Mr. Abbott, can you elaborate on your tweet saying all university protesters should be arrested?
Of course, I doubled down, really horrific. I think all of them should be behind bars. Received a distressing call, several cases of crisscross applesauce on the university lawn.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Students were doing their homework in their lap, covering up the grass, which inhibits photosynthesis, causing mass grass death on the campus. So the police force was deployed.
Wow. And you said you observed some actions of anti-Semitism. Can you elaborate?
No, I can't. But I do have a botanist friend who did confirm that the tents on the grass would cause mass grass death.
Wow.
You liberals love environmentalism until it's in your backyard.
No, that can't be. This is a setup. I don't know this guy.
You know those girls that always look clean? Their skin is always glowing, their lips are always glossed, and they never ever look like they're wearing too much makeup? We may not be them, but here's how to get their look. Apply concealer to these exact spots and blend upwards using a damp beauty blender. Here I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. By doing this, you'll lift your face up naturally without having to add heavy contour. Next up, brows. Whether you've got a lot of brow or a little, all you have to remember is that brows are very powerful tools when—
Let's fucking go. Let's go. I guess.
You guys need to stop asking people to speak out about Palestine. Not everybody wants to be involved in politics. You guys need to stop asking people to speak out about Black Lives Matter. Not everyone wants to be involved in politics. You guys need to stop asking people to speak out about Abu Ghraib. Not everybody wants to be involved in politics. You guys need to stop asking people to speak out about the Holocaust. Not everybody wants to be involved in politics. You guys need to stop asking people to speak out about the KKK lynchings. Not everybody wants to be involved in politics. You guys need to stop asking people to speak out about slavery. Not everyone wants to be involved in politics.
Hello, hi, I'm going to be redrawing racist art, and today I'm looking at the depiction of Sikh men, this image specifically. It's a caricature of a Sikh man smoking a cigarette with blatant disregard for his culture and faith. This image was published less than 10 years ago, and at the time it sparked outrage, and rightly so. Sikhs, especially those who wear turbans and keep their hair uncut, are easy targets for media, ignorance and bigotry. This is bitter irony because one of the reasons that Sikhs dress so differently is because they want to be identified, so others can ask them for help. Sikhism is deeply rooted in the principles of selfless service known as seva, and this is a profound commitment to charity and helping those in need. This is why, in my drawing, I made the Sikh man a more powerful character. I wanted to include symbols of faith, so I also added an image in the background of their holy text, the Guru Granth Sahib. I did have to find an image of it though because I don't speak or read Punjabi, but I hope that you guys like the way that it turned out.
He is not the love of your life. He is literally just a guy. Hit him with your car.
Look, what happened in the 20 years of imperial occupation does not matter. Do you condemn the millions of lives that the Rebel Alliance took when they destroyed the Death Star? Yes, there were civilians on Alderaan, but that is not the Empire's fault, because the Rebel Alliance purposefully used the citizens of Alderaan as human shields from the massive space laser that hit their planet. Now we have all these little Kashyyyks popping up all over college campuses here on Coruscant. Like, the Emperor just needs to send the stormtroopers in and round you guys up and massacre you already. Like, everybody keeps saying, free Kashyyyk, free Kashyyyk. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? Kashyyyk was free for hundreds of years. And you know, all they did was build tree houses. And all I'm saying is this all could have been avoided if the Rebel Alliance just transferred over all of the hostages they had on Alderaan. Like, seriously, if you think the Outer Rim is that nice, how about you leave Coruscant and go live there yourself? Don't even get me started on the people who are saying, oh, the Empire needs to be more accurate with its bombings, you're killing civilians. And that's just utterly false, because Imperial stormtroopers are quite literally the most accurate shots in the entire galaxy.
These are 5 things I wish I would have known before getting arrested at the UCLA protest last night. What's up? My name is Liz. I'm now 24. I graduated from UCLA in the class of 2021, and I was at the protest last night, May 2nd into the early morning of May 3rd. The reason I'm making this video is because I was a political science student. Like, I currently work in politics. I have worked in labor. I thought I was arrest trained. I definitely wasn't. I was not prepared for not just like what I would see, but also like what I needed to do, if that makes sense. And I'm really blessed that I was educated by some of my comrades and young, sorry, my brain's still. Other young students at the protest were able to educate me on what I should say, but it was like while we were in cuffs. So hopefully if you're a student at another university right now, I know we're hearing reports that police are considering or planning on raids for other campuses. So this is something I wish I would have known prior to putting myself at high risk of arrest by being on the front lines. Number 1, expect the white folks to go home. Like, I wish, the plan is white folks put your bodies at the front of the lines, and that should 100% be the case. Like, if you're a white person or white presenting person, as I am, your body should be in the front, because they undoubtedly treat our brown brothers, sisters, and kin way differently than they treat us. But what's wild is, like, around, like, midnight is when I was like, damn, where the white folks at? Like, it's brown folks all in the front. And that's fucked. And I think it's because it's convenient for white people to be inconvenienced by being their lead, inconvenienced at waiting till 3 a.m., 5 a.m. for police intervention to come in and berate everybody. So, number one, encourage your white friends to go. Encourage white folks to be at the front and not be instigators, but rather as barriers for people of color. Like proactively, I wish I would have done more of that. But then once they're there, like use your positionality to put yourself in front. Number two, when you're at the front of the lines, and when I mean that, I mean like there's barricade and then you, the scariest moment. And again, I've been anti-police for a long time. I've been an abolitionist for a bit, but I think it's one thing to read about police aggression and it's another thing to see the batons like flying at you. Like mentally preparing for that. It's heavy, and I know some folks, especially Black and brown people of color, have experienced that, even if not in major ways, in micro ways. It's jarring. Just be prepared to see that and still have to hold the fuck on. Like it's don't get scared of police grabbing at you, like hitting you, smacking the people next to you, like at best, at worst, shooting at you with rubber bullets and shit. But just like I wish I would have held on tighter, grabbed more shit, like used the barricade more. Yeah, talk to folks who are willing to share information about what that's like to use your body as a barrier, like what that is like. And look at the videos, see like what students are doing right, what's effective. It's a lot of like if you see someone next to you getting attacked, you grab them, you pull them back in, because they cannot resist arrest. So they'll put their hands up, grab their bodies, pull them back in, because you, the person pulling them, are not at risk, not yet at least, and that's dope. I think for me, I was one of the first to get pulled out. Nobody beside me was getting pulled out, thank goodness. And there was a moment of panic when I realized like they had to keep holding on and I was getting dragged. That's fine, girl. Love you. Bless. And I think that's when I wish I would have, that's when I felt unprepared. Like, fuck, what do I do now that I'm in police hands, you know? That brings me to number 3. If you see, and this is, I'm not providing legal advice. This is just what I did. So I'll speak from that perspective. Do whatever the fuck you want. When I saw, I knew remain silent. Like immediately they like threw me on the ground and they're like, don't resist, bitch, I'm sitting here. Like, I'm not resisting. And I said, like, I'm not resisting. They're still aggressive. They still grab your shit, tie your shit, they start cutting shit. At that point, I felt the urge to like keep yelling, like to keep chanting. And I was like, fuck, but I'm supposed to remain silent. What do I do? And I saw a student still chanting while while getting detained and arrested. So that's what I started doing. And I kind of was under the mentality, and I wish I would have been proactive in thinking this through, of like, if they're gonna harm one person for it, I'd rather them not be singled out. I want to be that person too. Like, a community rather than one aggravator being arrested. Does that make sense? So participating in like collective agreements of what that is going to look like when you are arrested. If you were sitting down with people in cuffs, what is that going to look like? Is everyone going to be silent? Everybody going to be silent? Or who was willing, ready and prepared for the consequences of continuing to chant? I wish I would have gone into it with a plan, conversations more about it proactively. Yeah. Number 4, in California, or at least in our protests, they asked for our ID. And I remember beforehand, a lot of people were asking, is it good or bad to have your ID? No, wherever you have it, they will get it. Like, I remember one comrade had it in their shoe. They took her shoes off and suddenly the bitch had no shoes. If you have it in a purse that's wrapped around your body, like I had like my phone in my crossbody bagoo, they fucking cut that shit. That brings me to another thing. Earrings, bracelets. Like, I've had this bracelet on since I was a baby. Necklaces, they will cut it. Like, they will rip it off, cut it off, whatever the fuck. I'm shocked they let me keep this bracelet because I think I made her feel stupid when she asked, how do you take it off? And I said, girl, it's a bracelet. Female cops don't fuck with that. So she yanked my shit really hard, but she couldn't get it off. But necklaces, she ripped the fuck off. Earrings, I saw them rip them off, colleagues. Your mask, anything, they will rip it the fuck off. Your sweater, they will rip it the fuck off. If not, they will cut it. I saw somebody with just their binder, which can be really jarring and triggering for some folks, so kind of be aware of that. Also leads into also be aware that they will misgender the fuck out of everybody. They called me an it at one point. That's going to be real tough for some non-binary siblings that we got. Lastly, follow the advice of organizers that already have information out. Dress warm. Bitch, it was fucking cold. And they had us sitting like in the wet ass grass for an hour. Again, they're cutting off clothes, cutting off jackets. Wear layers. Dress warm. And this is a bonus piece of advice for non-students. If you are a graduate or community member that is not a current student, understand that you have the privilege of putting yourself at risk of arrest, sure, but not academic backlash, probation, expulsion, whatever. You should be using that privilege to put yourself first.
And lastly, I love you. I'm deeply fucking honored to fight by your side, and I will get arrested 100 times more if it means that we can continue the pressure for divestment, liberation, and a free Palestine.